Hello, fellow 7th Ward residents. My name is Barrett. Thank you for attending this event. We are all here because this is a kickoff for my mom, Keiana Barrett. Like many young people, my sister and I need leaders to help us be safe and help us become the leaders of tomorrow.
I want to have a conversation with you all because I think that's what we need to do more so than anything else. People ask me, and it's a common question, why are you running? Why do you want to be alderman? And that's the common question, and I've given it a great deal of thought. And I don't consider myself running at all. I see myself building a movement because that's what we need. We need sustainable solutions. And where do they come from? They come from this room. They come from the collective mass. That's where they come from. Many people say that the best way to disenfranchise a person is to strip them of their history or access to their past. And clearly we see that playing out today because our young people have no regard for their life, let alone yours, because they know not from which they come. They don't understand it. So we can't just look at that kid on the block, because we all know there's a couple of families on the block in the neighborhood. We work with a couple, and we just look at them and see them coming and shake our head and close the blinds. We can't have that, approach to it. We've got to reach out and help them, even if they don't know they need the help. We've got to make that available. Do the teachers have what they need in order to teach? These are the kinds of questions that we need to ask, and how do we ask them? Because we get involved. We serve on a local school council. We develop community action councils. We go to parent-teacher conferences where you know your kid's teacher and you sitting with them and going over your son's homework. I know Crawford's teachers very, very well. So that's the kind of engagement that we need to have. But the state of Illinois is ranked last in how it ranks and how it provides funding for school systems, and particularly for Chicago public school systems. And so again, it's important that we know this so that when we're talking to our elected officials, we're talking to them from an informed perspective. We know exactly what we need. And that's so important that we understand that. So a part of our organizing meeting is that we're going to make sure that we're all registered to vote. If you moved, if you got married, change your last name. If you're going to be 18 by election day, you need to make sure that you are registered to vote. And not only you, but everybody in your household that is eligible, you need to make, that needs to be a family exercise. We do that as a group. We all go to the polls. And we take our neighbors to the polls. But before we even get to the polls, we educate ourselves on who we're voting for to make sure that what their agenda is in line with what our agenda is. And how do we do that? We go to their office and we talk to them before election day. So there can be no absence of thought about what we need because we're joining with them in a partnership to improve our communities. Well, what's important is our city council does not just represent their individual ward. They are representing the city of Chicago. So we need to have conscious-minded alderpersons, 50 of them, that are in tune with the needs of our community. So they understand what we need and the importance of that. So we need to have city council members that understand that and that's going to fight for parity and a system that is equitable to the needs of our communities. So that's why it's important for you to come out and get to know me and get to know other members that are running, because these are the types of votes that are going to have to be cast that will impact our entire city. And many times our young people don't have a constructive and meaningful exercise to do. Many times on our blocks, we don't know our neighbor. We couldn't say their name if our life depended upon them because we really don't want to know them. But I promise you that the knuckleheads, they know your block and they know your neighbors and they know that you don't know your neighbor. And that's what helps them set up shop. So I'd encourage you tonight, when you get home, if you see, hey, Mr. Johnson, hey, how you doing? Have some dialogue. Because while we think that it's a crime issue and it's all on law enforcement, they can't be everywhere all the time. But by having a fortified relationship with your neighbor, that's one of the best defenses that you have. So having been a staffer for so many years, and I'm so grateful for that experience, and I'm unapologetic about my experiences. As Brian talked about, I was the chief of staff for the 7th Ward, and I'm a realist before I'm anything. So I understand that what transpired with Sandy Jackson left an indelible imprint on this ward. And as a result of that, there's a lot of people who are dispirited, who are disgusted, who are angry. And I understand that. It was more than just a job for me. It was a lifestyle, so I get that. But we're forward-facing now. We can do nothing about what happened then, but we have everything to do with what happens next. And so for many of you that I see around the room, the reason why I say family is because I feel like we're family. I know your families. I know the needs that you come to the office with. I understand that. And that's important for this job, to know your community, to know the need, to know the propensity for change. But not only do you need to know your community, but you gotta know how to navigate at City Hall, because that's a beastly process. There's a lot of bureaucracy in government, but you've gotta have relationships, and you've gotta know how to navigate through and around, and that's very important. And being a staffer, I have had that opportunity to do so and still have some of those relationships today, which are very important. But you've also got to recognize that you can't do this work in isolation. I'd be foolish if I stood here and told you I have a silver bullet, and with that I can solve all the problems of the ward. I can't. But I believe that we've got some golden opportunities, and together we can seize and capitalize on all of those. I'm not just going to show up a couple of days before the election and say, "Hi, I'm Keiana. I'm running for Alderman. Can you vote for me?" I want you to see me out in the community doing things, and you're saying, "Wow, I'm so glad you're running. How can I get involved? How can I help?" Because there are many persons within our community that are hungry, that are lonely, that are thirsty. And if we're truly about doing God's work and rebuilding our communities, then it's our responsibility to take the first step to make that happen. So I look forward to working hand in hand with each and every one of you as we not only transform the 7th Ward, but we change the whole narrative about the city of Chicago, and we make it a place that our young people can feel safe, and we can feel good about working, playing, and owning homes, and buying more property, and shopping in our neighborhoods. So we got a lot of work to do, but we got some able bodies, and I'm so excited about this. So we are kicking off a fresh start